Hello, everybody. Can't see the chat yet. Hang on. If you can see me, thank you. Be patient. Okay? I'll be with you as soon as I can find the chat. Craziness here. Craziness right here. Okay. I wonder. All right. Okay. Maybe. Can you see me okay? I hope you can. Looks like I'm super pixelated at the moment on my end. Are you guys seeing me okay? Who knows what's going on? I look fine? Okay. Oh, goodness. All right. Crazy around here, people. It is crazy around here. Hi, Joan. It's crazy around here today. I don't know why. What causes the... Must be the gremlins. Must be the gremlins. So everybody needs to send all those gremlins packing, huh? Hello, hello, hello. So good to see you. Sorry, I had a little trouble getting started. I don't know why. That's craziness. Oh, well. It is what it is. Some days are like that. Let's see. Let me say hello to everybody. And a welcome. It's Drama Free Friday. It didn't start out quite so drama free. We'll get there. Hi, Angie and Marilyn. Linda. Hello, Linda. Sheila. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know. Let's see. Did I say hi to Nancy? You know, the funniest thing is when I go down the list and I say hello to people, and I can get 2 names below and go, did I say hello to that person? Anyway, hello, Nancy. Ever many times I can say that. Hi, Nancy Lohr. Joan. Sorry, just scrolled. My chat just jumped. I had trouble getting my chat. It's craziness around here. Video and audio is fine. Good. Hello, Mama's Learning. You found me. You found me. Yes. It was tough getting here, Nancy. It was tough getting here. Hi, Mitzi. Mindy. Another Linda. Hello, Linda Pierce. Linda Lee. Hello to you, too, if you're watching. Hi, Dorothy. Dorothy found the icons. Yeah, me too, Marilyn. She says she can't wait to see what I have planned. Me too. Laura. Let's see. Lorraine. Hello, hello. Just trying to catch everybody as I go down the list here. No, it wasn't just you. It was me. It was me. Hi, Marion. It was me. Hi, Tink. Did I say hello to Lorraine? I think I did. I'm telling you. You just cannot believe that you can't remember 2 seconds after you say something. My mind must be in 4 different places today. Hi, Sylvia. Light and Laughter is Sylvia. Hi, Kimberly. Okay. Can't see through these glasses. Oh, you guys. Whoops. Let me get that off the screen. Gracious. I watched a whole interview the other. Did you see? I don't know. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see the mouse on my screen. Linda McAllister is supposed to be in charge of telling me that. She's not here. Anyway, I watched a whole interview on something they were doing on TV the other day, and the mouse was right in the middle of the guy's face. I'm like, you can really tell that we all the TV people especially miss having their team behind the scenes, right? For real. Hey, Cindy. Yeah, it was really funny. I just kept thinking, move the mouse, move the mouse, move the mouse out of the way. I don't even know what it was I was watching, but it was so funny. It was so funny because I'm like, yeah, I know how that is because I've gone through entire streams, with the mouse, like here on my chest or something. Anyway, such problems. How crazy. So how's everybody on this drama-free Friday? Are you drama-freeing? Are you drama-free? That's what I want to know. And where are you located? Hi, Tracy. Where are you located? I know where a bunch of you are, but I always like to know where everybody is. Hi, Tori. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I'm just having some coffee. A little Americano here this morning. Texas. Cool. Michigan. Nancy's drama-free and proud of it. Good. Hot Arizona. Okay. I know Joan's always busy. She's in the UK. Oh, Linda's in the UK? Linda's in the UK. I didn't realize that. Dorothy's drama-free too. Suzanne, Minneapolis. Prayers for you and your community. We aren't going there, but I'm just saying that. Just acknowledging. New Hampshire. Cool. Indiana. All right. Germany. I forgot Sylvie's in Germany. That's right. Cincinnati, Rhode Island, Virginia Beach, Florida. Wow. So good to see. It's an amazing thing that we can all get together in a place like this or other streams or other places, but you can get together like this and just be together in the same general place, even if we're not physically together. It's really incredible if you think about it. Really incredible. Oregon, Maine. My uncle used to live in Jonesport, Maine. Yeah, Jonesport. We were there one time. Kittery Point. Interesting. Hello, Nancy Dale. Hello, hello, Canada. Good deal. Hi, Ina. Ina's from the Netherlands. Hi, Barbara Clark. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I should only let you guys say what you wish to say, not me say it for you. Anyway, I'm having a Americano. This was the project that we did, was it last week? There's always so much water that... Hi, Sue Ann from Pennsylvania. Hi, Becky. There's always so much water that goes under the bridge, over the bridge, around the bridge, between one thing and another. I think we did it was it last week? I think it was last week, last Saturday. Anyway, I just wanted you to see, it works. I just love these little coffee sleeves made out of scraps. This one's made out of fabric paper. I love these. Anyway, VIP group, we did those. And those of you that are in the VIP group at HowToGetCreative.com, this is not going to show very well, but I wanted you to see, we talked about Velcro because these are closed with Velcro right here. And I told you about this Velcro that you could get, let me turn it this way, in colors. I know it looks milky because of the plastic, but anyway, it's like a yard of each color. So I just thought I would show it to you because it did arrive. I know, fabric paper, what a surprise. Exactly, because I love me some fabric paper. Yes, I do. I do. They are such good colors. Yes, such good colors. Yes, so next up, let's see, what should we talk about? I have a whole desk full of stuff. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I want to talk to you about this. Hi, Mary. Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. I hope you, did they arrive? I hope they did, and I hope that you found all the little stuff inside the box. The extras that I sent you. Mama Sherry, there is, I have one version of fabric paper here on YouTube, so you can go to my channel and you can watch it there. Oh, good. So you can watch that. That's one of the classes from HowToGetCreative.com that we put on YouTube here. It's one of my highest watched videos ever. So it's made with construction paper. Anyway, I digress. You found that one? Okay, cool. Cool. Hi, Tara from Charleston. Oh, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So anyway, this is the book that I wrote. Normal doesn't live here anymore. It's appropriate for things going on right now, right? And I just want to read you a couple of quick things. This is my experience with taking care of my parents. And I just the reason I want to read this to you is because I want you to have, it won't take very long, a little tiny snapshot into how my life blew up at one point, and I'm not going to read very much of it. And then I'm going to skip over all this stuff. I'm going to skip all that and come back here. So I'm going to read here, and I'm going to read here. The reason I'm going to do that is you'll find out, okay? Oh, Bridgeton, I forgot what your name is. Lorraine's in Canada. Cool. Greenville. Bridgeton, I forgot what your name is. Is it Cheryl? Hi, Beth. Cheryl, I guessed right. That is a shock. Shocker. Anyway, it's great to see your name in the chat. I can't believe I guessed it before you wrote it in the chat. It was like a split second before it showed up on my screen. Anyway, so there is stuff before this, and there's a lot of stuff after it, but you'll understand why I'm going to read it, I think. For the first time in our entire married life, my husband and I lived alone. Because when we got married, we had a ready-made family, and then we had a son. Anyway. So for the first time in our entire married life, my husband and I lived alone. Our life together spanned more than 30 years. Well, I've been married a lot longer than that now. And we were, for the first time, without children. My stepdaughter had married, and was busy with her own family, while our son's focus remained on designing his life and career. During those first months after our son left home, my husband and I spent our time getting acquainted with each other, learning to play and experiencing what it felt like to put each other ahead of everything else in the world. On a whim, we could take off for a weekend, enjoy a drive anytime, or talk for hours without interruption. We grew the colorful, wonderful relationship that I had wanted throughout our entire marriage, but always had to set aside because of someone else's needs. Exploring new hobbies cemented a closeness of which we'd only dreamt. Finally, each of us had a soft place to fall, and life had become exactly what we wanted it to be, just the two of us. My husband and I took a vacation in September, the 8th month of my parents' new routine. We drove a few hours to a state lodge where we enjoyed a 3-hour kind of vacation. Rest, relax, and refuel. It felt great. Reflecting about our life together, gratitude filled our hearts. Our son's life was on track. My husband's business was doing well. My parents were relatively stable. And I was busy building my own lucrative design business and teaching lots of classes. Life felt pretty darn good. As long as it lasted, the illusion of smooth sailing was intoxicating. Only a couple of weeks after returning from our vacation, my bedroom phone jarred me awake in the pre-dawn hours. With my heart pounding wildly, I listened as an unemotional voice from the emergency monitoring service reported, "Your father, suffering severe chest pains, is being transported to the hospital by ambulance, and your mother is remaining in the residence. I have another person listed here, another daughter, I believe. When I hang up with you, I will call and tell her what is happening." "Thank you," were the only words I could think of. I dropped the phone, looked at my husband, and willed myself to move. Dazed and on the verge of panic, my husband and I hurriedly dressed and headed in opposite directions. I raced to my parents' home, to my mother, who was alone and surely frightened, while my husband intercepted Dad at the emergency room. Rushing through the door, I entered my parents' normally orderly living room and noticed the way the couch and chairs had been pushed aside to clear a path for the gurney. A million thoughts streaked through my mind about those moments and what they must have been like for my dad. I found Mom, still wearing her nightgown, sitting on the bed, staring at the door. So why do I read that to you? I read that because that's kind of what it feels like, or it felt. I will only speak for me. That's what it felt like when everything blew up several months ago. You know, everything had this rhythm again, not only for me, but, for the world. And then suddenly, an event happened, and it didn't blow up just my world. It blew up everybody's world. And as we are at a place now, several months down the road, and believe me, I couldn't believe for 1 second this could last this long. Not for a minute did I think this could last this long. But several months down the road, things are starting to open back up. Restaurants are opening again. Not all of them, just a few. Malls are opening. I don't know what all else is opening. Doesn't matter. What's opening doesn't matter to me. It's just the fact that things are reopening and kind of tenuously, they're kind of opening like this, It's kind of like we step out onto the reopening phase of things, and it's kind of like you don't know if the ground's gonna hold you, It's kind of strange. It's a strange feeling. And so what I wanted to say and what I want to encourage you with, because I'm going to read this little bit at the end, what I want to say to you is to be patient with yourself, to be patient with the world around, because we're not going into the events, the most recent events. We're not going there, okay? Please, don't go. It's like checking the thickness of the ice, Mary. That's right. And so we're not going to go into the most recent events just because there's too much. It's too much, right? For Drama Free Friday. But what's going to happen is we're never going back to the way it was. We're never going, just the way I couldn't go back to the way it was. Okay? I had to go forward. That's what we all have to do. We have to go forward. So, after all this, this is the epilogue at the end of the story. My caregiving roller coaster ride eventually ended. Just like what we're going through with all of this, it eventually ends. There was no way for me to foresee the twists and turns it would take. Yet through it all, I managed to keep my eyes open and stare down the fear of losing people I loved. Our time together, once seemingly endless, came to a close. I have survived, and I have been given a renewed purpose for my life. Through it all, I discovered one undeniable truth. My life is deeper and richer than before the journey began. I greet every day with anticipation and joy as my life is once again filled with art, music, flowers, and teaching. My husband and I still celebrate our afternoon coffee dates. We do that still, but that has changed as well because of what's going on now. But we still do that. Often remembering my mother joining us. He and I joined forces in artistic adventures in our studio as we worked together. In gratitude for each other and the world around us. My son, now an amazing man who continues to design a life that I never dared to dream, insisted that I share my caregiving journey with the world. Because of his vision and coaxing, I'm sharing this story with you. Looking back over those years devoted to my parents, I have no regret. I cared for the people who gave me life just as they cared for me as a helpless baby, a small child, confused teenager, and willful young adult. I'm grateful for each experience and lesson, no matter how isolated and lonely I felt. Can you relate? Isolation and loneliness? No longer encumbered by overwhelming responsibility, I'm free to pursue my life. I feel whole again, but with much greater understanding and compassion for those who care for others. There really is a circle of life, and I'm truly blessed by choosing to participate in it. So, the moral of the story is, normal isn't going to return to what it was. It's going to be new. It's going to be different. It's going to be something that maybe there's going to be parts we don't like and parts we don't understand and things that are uncomfortable. And for some of us, myself included, it is easier to stay home. It is easier to stay home. I've gotten very used to being here in my safe place. So, we can't live cloistered in a bubble either. And so we have to kind of begin as we feel like we're okay to do it. Begin to venture out and, try to follow the rules. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because a lot of what's going on right now, I think, parallels what my journey was. And I thought sometimes it helps if you just have, if you can listen to somebody else. Not the same experience, but something you can relate to. And I don't know, it just felt like the other day, it's like, I couldn't get away from the thought of sharing and encouraging you. So I know better than not to do that. I have to follow that push because if I don't know what happens, but I get miserable and upset and, all of that. So, yes, exactly. Riri says she still has a wonderful life within and without disasters. And, so much of that comes from, now this is my opinion, but for me, that comes from a place of choice. How do we choose to look at things? So, enough philosophizing. I just thought that I would share that with you. Hey, Jamie. All right, so I didn't read a lot of the comments that were flying by there. Yeah, Beth says we can't lose sight of what we have and always be grateful. That's right. So much of our experience, whatever it is, comes from the way we choose to look at it. Because I have talked to some people over the course of years who, they've had they have been through some things that's like, I can't imagine going through that. And they are the happiest, most grateful, and they don't have, my head says they don't have any reason to be grateful, And then I've talked to and I've watched other people who have gone through a bump in the road that for them it wasn't just a bump, it was a mountain. So and everything's bad and everything's wrong and everything's horrible and we each have our struggle. I'm not judging anybody. We each have our struggle. So anyway, I just thought I would share that with you. Take it for what it's worth. You can always just scroll right on by that or put it on mute. You don't have to listen. Okay, so last week, we're going to change gears completely. Last week, we did a stream with a journal page. And let me get myself put together. We'll see if the camera's going to cooperate today. I asked it very nicely to cooperate. I asked it very nicely to cooperate. All right. And so here is the journal page that we worked on last week, right? This is about my dad. I did a blog post also, HowToGetCreative.com, if you would like to read the blog post. It's based on this little book about my dad. This was about my dad's life and his flowers. And so this journal page kind of was based around that. And so I used one of the same images. This is the image you guys voted for. It was a good choice. It was a good choice. Hi, Ellie. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Jan. And anybody I missed saying hello to. I'm really glad you're here. And in case you don't know who I am, my name is Barb Owen. I always seem to forget to tell you that. Anyway, so we did this background a few weeks ago, and I didn't know what in the world I was going to do with it. And then I thought, well, make a tag and use, put something on it with my dad. This is the image you guys voted on. So I'm going to come in so you can see what I did with it. Because what I did was I used gel pens and paint pens and just embellished the mums. So are they real? Are they real colors? Well, there's some real colors in there. There is some real colors in there, but not a lot, because I did gel pen over the plant that was here, some gel pen embellishments around my dad, and added a little border. And then I just sort of mimicked one of these flowers up here around the place where I forgot to put anything in the hole at the top of the tag. So I just made a flower out of it, because what else? And then I added stems down here. My dad's hand is right here. I don't know if I think you can see that, but my dad's hand is there. So I made it look like he had a hold of the stems. So anyway, I think it turned out cute. I like it. I like it. Yeah. So anyway, and then what I did was there is a quote. This is not a direct rendition of the quote. There was something about, I think the earth laughs in flowers might be the actual quote. And instead I changed it, and so I wrote, the earth speaks in flowers, and so did my dad. Mm-hmm. He is, Sylvia. It's true. It's true. It is true. So anyway, that is that. And around the outside edge, we did some of this last week. Around the outside edge, these are zippers, old zipper stuff that I used to elevate the tag off the page so it actually has some dimension, not a lot. I don't like a lot of, hi Nashua, I don't like a lot of dimension in my journals actually, but so I lifted it off the page a little bit, and then I went around stuff with an Inktense pencil and a water brush, so that elevated it up and so forth. So anyway, that was that. So I remembered some stuff I had that I thought, oh, I will show you some of this stuff. And this is, the reason I'm showing you this is because technology has taken us so far. It has taken us so far. Jamie's doing more in 3D journals. And oh, the trouble, she says. Is next week when you stream, Jamie? Is that the 3rd? I don't know. Jamie, I'll have to put it in there. APG Jamie streams on a Thursday. I think it's the 3rd. Anyway, so maybe somebody knows. Anyhow, the reason I want to show this to you, I mean, if this is not a page turner, I don't know what is. Sweet Pea Bud Drop. Do you see the date on this? This is when this was my dad's master's thesis. Okay. This is how they used to be done. Let's see if I've got the book the right way up. Yeah. This is how a thesis used to be done. And I just thought that it would be fun for you to see it. I just thought it would be fun. So I don't know where he got this printed. He had to have somebody put this book together. But right now, there is such a craze about onion skin and people using onion skin in their journaling and artwork and stuff. This whole book, aside from the beginning and ending of it, this whole thing, this is all onion skin. Okay, this is all done in onion skin. It is typed on a typewriter. So I'm going to come in so you can see. Now you've kind of gotten the idea. This is all typed on a typewriter. This is not a copy. This is typed. And I'm sure it's on onion skin because you could actually erase on onion skin. Yeah, you could actually erase on. Hi, Shu. Yeah, I can't even imagine having to get all this right. You know, now it's so easy to generate a table of contents. You do it in InDesign or any other, word processing kind of program. This had to be all precisely done. So I just thought I would show you. Now it is only typed on the one side because onion skin is so thin. But listen to that. It's really cool paper, isn't it? And this was done in 1935. And because it was done in 1935, it's pretty amazing to me. There's not one thing in this that's acid-free. Not one thing. But look, it has held together, hasn't it? And then what he did, where he had to put in photographs, these are, I'm sure he took the photos, and they are attached in here with who knows what kind of glue, probably hide glue or something. Yeah, there was no correct tape. Nope, there was you had to use a stick eraser that was especially for removing typewriter ink. I doubt that my dad typed this. Whoops, there goes the focus, because there's not much to focus on this. But anyway, I just thought I would show you. So there's another picture. This one is about to come out, so we have to be careful with it. And then I don't know exactly what these were about, some sort of tables that he did in some of his research. But isn't that interesting? I have no idea what this is done on or how it was done. Anyway, there's several pages of that. But anyway, this was what he did in order to achieve his master's thesis. And then there's some other, it all meant something to him. It means nothing to me. But anyway, I just thought I would show you that because I looked high and low for this thing the other day. Finally remembered where I'd stuck it. But it is not very thick, but it has got a lot of pages in it. A lot of pages. And it is about sweet pea bud drops. So just saying, if you ever had a desire to learn what that was. Isn't that funny? Yeah. Isn't that funny? The blue stuff, do you think that was mimeograph paper? Yeah. Beth's paperly heart is a flutter. So I wanted to show you another thing that I found in his stuff. Since I read you the part earlier about taking care of my parents, I was the one that was left to, dismantle their home. Because my dad passed away first, and then we moved my mom in with me, and then it's a whole long thing. It's a whole long thing. Dorothy said she did hers herself too, and the graphs and photos were all done by her. There you go. So Jamie, did you say that this is the week that you stream? Yeah. So, I mean, hats off to anybody that does that. Hats off. I'm not kidding you. Once computers, listen, when I was in school, this sounds like the story about I had to walk to school uphill and downhill both ways. I did walk to school, but it was only uphill part of the time. And I walked home most of the time, too. Most of the time I got a ride to school, I walked home. Even in high school. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. So I found this stuff that was in my dad's desk because I ended up having to go through all the stuff. But I thought I would show this to you because I referenced my dad being a professor. And I thought what's interesting about this is how much we have changed in what technology has afforded us to be able to do. So I thought I would show these to you because some of this is definitely still appropriate for us to learn today. We can just consume it differently. So these are pieces of poster board. Next Thursday at 10 a.m. Central. So, yeah. So if you want to watch APG Jamie streaming, she is a total fun person to do. There are lots of other people here that stream as well, but Jamie only does it once a month, so I just thought I would tell you. So anyway, I'm going to go through these relatively quickly, but these were all done because he was teaching, and he apparently didn't, pardon me, I think maybe he was doing these as a way to, might have been for a class presentation or something. But anyway, this is in relationship to his subject matter was about floral arrangements. Okay. So, proportion and scale, balance and focus. So all these are hand-drawn. And look how simple they are, but very effective. I don't know what these letters up here mean, but they were significant for him. So focus and symmetrical and asymmetrical. And hello, Gray. You are welcome, Jamie. And line. So, I mean, so much of this is still really good for art journaling or any other kind of creative art type things. Forms, curved and angular. Size and space. I saw him make this kind of flower arrangement so many times. He really liked that shape. And so this was, I guess he was getting ready. He did flower shows and where his students would go and be judged. And so apparently that's what this was referencing, how to get ready for going to a show and what the judges look for. There's my dad's color wheel. Yep. So there's my dad's color wheel. I saw somebody in the chat say something about color wheels a little bit ago. There's one, and all these are colored in, and they've maintained their color. I don't know what he used. Probably paint of some kind. Rhythm and repetition and movement. Aren't these interesting? I think they are. Contrast and dominance. I think it's really interesting, you know. Anyway, so thank you for indulging me with that. I did photograph these quite a while ago, so I do have the original, or have them preserved in images as well. And then while I was digging, golly, the digging, you know, I thought that journaling, that, you know, pretty much I never saw my parents doing any journaling, you know, of what I would consider journaling to be. And then I realized again that I had saved this whole pile of stuff. So I'm going to show you. So I saved this whole pile of stuff, and I ran across it in a file cabinet the other day. Aren't they fun, though? Kind of like flashcards or mind mapping. Yeah, they really were. It was just, you know, back when those were done, I'm going to say those are in the 40s, maybe the 50s. Those big poster board things. You know, there was no such thing as a computer. There just wasn't. Anyway, I found these. So I thought I would share some of these with you real quickly, because apparently my family, my parents were journalers, and I didn't ever call what they did journaling. So, hey, Xandra. Hi, Tracy. So this tiny little book, I'm going to show you how big this little book is, okay? It's a little less than 2.5 inches wide, and it is about 3 inches tall. And it's called Day by Day. It's a day-by-day diary. Now, you tell me how much you can put into that day-by-day diary. Not much. And so let me show you. Let me see if I can find a page here that doesn't have anything on it. Okay, here you go. See that? You couldn't have a very exciting life if you had this little diary. You couldn't, could you? Hi, Mary Ellen. No, you couldn't have a very exciting life. Anyway, this was my dad's. Apparently he carried, oh, sorry, my nose is itching. I guess he carried this in his pocket so that he could write the stuff that was important. So when I found it, I was very surprised. So these are some of the things that he wrote in this little journal. There are very few words. See that? That says popped the question, and beside it, it says 1933, I think. No. Yeah, 33. That's the date that he asked my mother to marry him. So that's when he proposed. I thought that was interesting, that he wrote that down. This has mostly birthdays and important dates. This is another one. He gave Grace her ring. Grace is my mother. He gave her the ring on July 28th of 1934. Yeah. Isn't that funny? And this was somebody's birthday. I have no idea who Richard is, but it was Richard's birthday that day. I don't know who that is, but anyway. And then this was another day that was absolutely infamous. I mean, they celebrated this day more than they celebrated their anniversary, and this is the day that he met Grace. So this is all from my dad. August 4th, 1932. Yeah. So that was when they met. So he recorded that. And I don't know if he put anything else in here. Those were the ones that I had marked. And then this was stuck in this little journal. And this is a letter that my mom wrote, my own sweet Jimmy. Yeah, and so this is all a letter. It was written in 1936, and it was before they were getting married and what she thought he should wear. The interesting thing about this is right here at the, let's see if I can fold this up where you can really see it. All my love and kisses, forever your own Peg Sweetie. My mother's name was Grace. Her name was Grace Margaret. And so I guess that's where that came from, the Peg. I never knew her to have such a, okay, now I folded this up and I got to fold it back. I never knew her to have that nickname. So it was very enlightening that that was in that little letter. But isn't that funny? Hi, Lori. And so I thought I would show you these. I'm not going to go through all these, but I just thought I would show these to you because, and one of the things that was interesting too, another thing that I'm going to encourage you about is this little book right here has no date in it. This has no date as far as like a year. So I don't know if this spanned a whole bunch of years, but look at his phone number. Can you see that right there? That's his phone number, 72843. That was his phone number. Anyway, so what I want to encourage you about is I want to encourage you to date your journal pages. Date your journal pages. Date your journals. Dorothy has her dad's diary he wrote in World War I. That's great. My mother's half-brother was in World War I. And I have a doll that he sent back to her. It was a soldier doll. He's really cool. Anyway, I wanted to show you this. Can you see the price of this notebook? See the price? This notebook cost 22 cents. Do any of you guys remember this kind of journal? We're actually going to do some art here in a little bit, but I just thought we would talk about some of these things. This is from 1960. And there was a note in here, don't put more than 24 pounds of air in the tires. And then this was a trip that they took. How many miles they drove, where they went. This was the kind of stuff that they journaled. It wasn't necessarily what they felt about things. It wasn't their emotions or the experiences they were going through. It was mostly about trips. Mostly about trips and where they stayed and so forth. And there's only a date on here. So it is absolutely a fluke, I think, that they started out with and somebody put the date in there, because it wasn't me. Anyway, so so interesting, you know, and all the handwriting. Handwriting is powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Here's another one, and I put these in chronological order just so you could see. This one was in 1965. You see this handwriting here? I was the last of 5 kids. I was the one that got to go with them on most car trips and stuff. And that's what we did, was car trips. We'd drive for flipping ever to get anywhere. Anyway, apparently on this particular journey, 1965, I was designated the scribe. Yes. And so that's my handwriting from 1965. And some of the things that are just so funny is how much we spent, where we stayed, and what we spent. So we had dinner someplace in Illinois, Waterloo, Illinois. It cost $1.30. Another place we went, it cost us $1.33. So I was taxed with doing all of the scribing for this, apparently. We bought postcards in some place that cost 16 cents. Yeah, we don't buy things like this anymore. Here we stopped at Stuckey's for milkshakes, and we spent $1.08. Isn't that funny? Anyway, so it's all, you know, it's all July 29th. This is the return trip. and so forth and so on. Where we stayed, what we ate, how much it cost, what the mileage was. Yeah. So, but look at that cute, sweet little notebook. And this one came from Woolworth's, but the price is worn off of it. And so this was another trip in 1978. Same kind of thing. I did get my mother journaling after my dad passed away. And so those are treasures too. But this is a trip diary. This was a nice one. And this cost $1.50. $1.50. Nancy, I don't remember being the scribe. I really don't. But it's clearly my handwriting. This is a combination of my dad and my mom. But that's an interesting diary because the place you visit and the points of interest and then comments. So it's an interesting little book. So that one was, what did I say that one was? 79. This one is from 85. This one got ripped out of the book. This one got ripped out of the book. Apparently she didn't have much to say on this trip. This one was from a motel, Little America. This was from she grabbed it from a motel and took notes on it because she clearly forgot to get a notebook set up for that one. Here's another one. Now you can see the prices are going up, 99 cents. The first one was 22 cents. And this is when they went to Russia and Scandinavia in 87. So again, same kind of thing. It's all trip stuff. Where they ate, what time they ate, what happened to the luggage. Here they went to an azalea festival in 1989. But you can always tell that this was something that would could be put in a pocket because it was little. And then on the back we have canning and freezing. So if you go this way, it's a trip. If you turn it over and go this way, it's the things that my mom recorded that she canned and froze. Dual duty, man, dual duty. Same kind of thing. This one was 1989. They went to Winnipeg. I just think looking at the different styles of notebooks are so interesting. This one is 1996. This one cost 40 cents. I like seeing the prices. Oh, this one was 39 cents. Yeah, 39 cents and 40 cents. This one's an interesting one, and I don't know what year this was, but this was a trip that they did tours where they took groups, and this was part of what that was, but I don't know what year it was. And then this is a journal that I gave my dad, Mickey Mouse. So I gave this journal to him, and this was from 1996, and this was where he kept track of their greenhouse. They had a small greenhouse in their garden, and so he wrote in here, and then this goes up clearly through 2001 because I just saw that. Yeah. So he has it dated and the different things that he did in here. So isn't that interesting? Anyway, so I just thought I would show this to you and say, in case any of you are going, oh, all these books and things I'm making are just pointless. No, they're not. They're not. And these are only the ones that I have. There were more, I'm sure. These are the ones I found. So they're really precious. You know what I mean? They're really precious. So trying to get stuff so it doesn't fall off. Not only does it provide a record to me for my family, but it also provides a record, you know, to other people about what was going on. So anyway, I just thought I would share that with you. And if all else fails, and you don't want that stuff, donate it to a thrift store, or you know, let somebody know online that you're getting rid of things like that. People love that kind of stuff. So, all right, let's do some art. Let's do some art, shall we? All right. I just, give me a second, because I just ripped off what I had put on here. Pitiful. That doesn't mean it's going to stay there. Anyway. All right, so this is the page we did. The same day that we did the background on this, we also did a background on this page. And I thought what we would do is put something on there. And every morning I try to spend some quiet time before I start the day. Try to spend quiet time, and I have an area set up in my office, and it just, you know, helps me kind of calm down, and I do, you know, my meditation and prayer time. And there is a poster that has been on the wall, in one wall in that office for ages. Ages. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Beth. And so I thought what I would do, I look at this poster and I thought, and it's big. And I saw the other day, I took a picture of it and I thought, you know, I like taking things from my everyday life and putting them inside the journal. So that's what we're going to do. So I thought this would work on this background, except for the fact I'm not going to glue this in. I'm going to paint in just the silhouette, just because. So I sized it down and posterized it so that I would have a very graphic background. You know, this is after posterizing it so that I could get a real contrast between the background and the image. And the caption under it is, "The key to life is balance." This is a beach ball that the elephant is standing on. Hi, Kathy. All right, so I'm going to put, I don't generally plan my pages to this degree, but I kind of did for this one because I needed to size it down. So I'm going to put the words up there on the top. I don't know how far we'll get today, but, you know, we're going to do what we're going to do. So I just printed this out on copy text weight paper, so 20-pound paper. And so I'm going to see if I can get this drawn around here enough that I can really see it. So did you guys enjoy that, or was that boring as all get out for you? I hope it wasn't too boring to see the old journals and things. When we live with stuff like that, it's our kind of normal, it's our kind of, you know, this is just the way it was, this is just how things are. And you don't realize how much things have changed until you get on down the road a little ways. And if you live long enough, which apparently I have, you get to a point where you go, whoa, we don't do that anymore. We don't do things like that anymore. One of the things that my mother did for me, because my mom did not work away from home, and I don't know if she figured that I was going to have to be working outside the home at some point or what, I don't know. It's hard to say what her reasoning was. But she determined that, well, she didn't know how to use a typewriter, so she couldn't type. And she was determined that I was going to know how to type. You know, maybe she thought the only thing that I would do, and it is what many women were doing at that point, was aspiring to be in the secretarial field. I never did learn shorthand, although that was a class that was taught when I was in school. But she wanted to make sure that I knew how to type, and so she signed me up when I was in 8th grade. She signed me up we have 2 colleges and a university in the town where I live, and then there's some satellite colleges from surrounding towns also. But at the time that I was doing this, I was in 8th grade, and we had 2 colleges and a university. And all right, I think I can see most of this. So I was signed up to go learn typing at one of the colleges for in a summer class. Believe me, I could not imagine why I needed to learn how to type in 8th grade. What was that, 14? Like, none of my friends were doing that stuff. What did I have to do? Why did I have to learn how to type? And as with most things back at that point in time, I decided to take it on as a challenge and see what I could do. How fast could I type? And that was back, we weren't allowed to use correction fluid or correction tapes or any of that kind of stuff. We weren't allowed to do any of that stuff. No, no, no. What we were allowed to do, and I'm sorry about the roaring in the background, it's the air conditioner. But what we were allowed to do, now I just jumped the track and lost the plot. It'll come back in a minute, but I can see I changed tracks, and I'm like, somebody's gonna have to jog my anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever it was, it'll come back if it was important. Yes, you weren't. Thank you, Marion. I saw that, and that helped me. You weren't allowed to make any corrections, and you certainly didn't have correction fluids of any kind. That wasn't even out yet. You couldn't do any corrections. We weren't even allowed to have an eraser pencil or anything. You had to be accurate, and you had to be deadly accurate, because if you weren't accurate, you had to go through and you had to count, or you traded papers. That's what we did most of the time. Traded papers, and other people counted your errors. So the way it worked was you got a score for how many words you typed. So you counted the words, and then you had a score for how many errors you made. So it behooved you to be fast and accurate. And that was the kind of challenge that I liked. All right, I need where did I put it? Here it is. This is just my palette. Actually, it's the palette we used from one of these pages, the one with the tag on it. So you had to be deadly accurate. And you also had to type like the wind. Because if you didn't, man, you were not going to pass that class. And there were people in my class that didn't pass it. But I was the only one that was a kid. Everybody else was, older than I was. Most of them were adults. Anyway, I found that I liked typing. Sister Teresa, huh? Well, then when I went to, I don't know if it was the next year or the year after that, I had to figure out what I was going to do in school. What classes I was going to take. And don't you know, they wouldn't count my typing credit from that summer school class. So I signed up for it again, because, that was how I was going to get that. I guess it was practical arts credit. I don't know, it was a credit you had to have. And so I signed up for it. And it took quite a while. There was a half the room that were electric typewriters, and the other half the room were manual typewriters. Well, I'd learned on a manual, so that's what I stayed with. And it was, and I also was a pianist, so my finger strength was really developed. I was very strong in fingers, and my eye-hand coordination was really good because of playing the piano. I was able to use both hands, and where some people really struggled with that when they learned to type. Anyway, those were interesting days. Hi, Brooke. So, anyway. Anywho, okay. So let's paint this thing. So what I've done is I've traced around my image, and this is Deco Art Lamp Ebony Black paint. It's craft paint. So let's try this and see how this is going to work. It's just an art journal, so if it doesn't work, who cares? Who cares? All right, so black paint. We had a couple of days this week that, oh my goodness, the weather has been lovely. I think we're over it now. I think we're back, climbing back into the hot. And I live in Missouri, where the humidity is a, Ellie can relate to this. The humidity is a killer, huh? So I'm not going to pretend that this elephant is going to be exactly the way I drew it, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I'm only going to do it as a silhouette. And it remains to be seen whether I can talk and do this at the same time. There's a lot of texture on this page. Ooh, complicated number grids. Listen, I'll tell you what, when onion skin became available, because at some point that, the way that you made copies, you had carbon copies, and the way you did that, some of you will remember this, I'm sure. You had to put the, let's see, where was the onion? The onion skin was on the bottom layer. And then the next layer up was good old-fashioned carbon paper. And you had to make sure you put that the right way around, because if you put it the wrong way around, you just typed on the back of your original instead of making the copy on the onion skin. And all right, let's see if I can paint this tail in here. This tail, I ended up with it looking, it's very blunted off in the picture. You know, I don't think elephant tails are blunt like that. So I'm going to have to make a little pointy thing. I think that's a little, that elephant must have had gotten its tail caught somewhere, don't you think? All right, let me get this in here and then we'll keep talking. Because clearly there is just way too many little deets in here to get. When you think that I started back in the days of carbon paper and onion skin, the fact that I can even do something like this online with multiple cameras and multiple computers and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty remarkable. I'm pretty proud of myself, I'm going to say. It's a good thing Race is not here, because he'd be mouthing about how old I was. Age is only a concept. It's only somebody's measuring device. You're as young as you decide you want to be. It's like a lot of other things in life. There's a lot of decision. So anyway, back to the I guess I'm going to let that tail be kind of blunt at the end. Oh well, it's only a little art journal page. It's not meant to be a work of art to be put on anybody's wall. I already have it on the wall. It's a poster. Anyway, so onion skin, and then carbon paper. Oh gosh, that was messy stuff. Golly, that was messy stuff. And then you put your next layer. If you needed more than one copy, you had to put another layer of onion skin, and you had to put another layer of carbon paper, so you could make 2 copies. I don't think you could do more than 2 and be very accurate. But anyway, and then you put your typing paper on the top. And I do remember that at some point they came out with, this was down the road, but at some point they came out with a typing paper. It wasn't onion skin, and it wasn't regular typing paper. But it was something that would erase a little bit better. Man, we thought we had died and gone to heaven when that happened. Anyway, so then you put your regular typing paper on the top, and then everything had to be straight. Everything had to be all lined up and straight, and then you had to put that in the typewriter, and you had to roll it, crank it into your typewriter, oh so carefully, because man, if you got that sandwich off, whew, it was trouble. Because then you really wouldn't know it was completely off until you got the thing out of the typewriter and looked at it, and then you go, oh no. Hey, Shelly. Hi, Robin. Hi to anybody. Hi, Chris. Anybody that I didn't see. Hi, Lauren. And anybody else I didn't see come in. I'm just finding something to talk about while I paint this elephant. And the typing book that we had, my goodness, that thing was thick. I will never forget the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Golly, we had to type that phrase over and over and over because it was every letter on the keyboard. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. I think that was the whole phrase. If that's not right, somebody will correct me in the chat. I know. So far we have an elephant butt. That's all we got. Elephant butt and tail. You guys be thinking about what we should do for the ball. You think I should put the ball in black? Or what do you think we should do with the ball? Clearly we won't get this completely done today, but I'll finish it later and I'll blog about it. It's always good to have input from you guys. I don't know if you can see this. Do you see that texture? That's texture from a paper towel, but it almost looks like elephant skin in there. Isn't that funny? Lazy brown dog. Oh, gotta have the brown in. Lazy brown dog. That's right. See, I said I'd never forget it, and then I did. I forgot. Yeah, we had to type that bloody phrase over and over and over. When I first learned to type, it made no sense that the way that the keyboard was laid out. It's like, why would you put this in alphabetical order? What's it called? QWERTY? Is that what the keyboard was laid out in? We're going back a little ways here. Reminiscing today. A few little reminiscences going on here today. Anyhoot. So when I was in high school and typing, man, I breezed through the first part of that class because of that summer. Man, the first part of that, man, I was killing everybody. Of course, then they all caught up with me. And you had to sit at one typewriter. That was your space to sit at. You didn't get to change typewriters. In fact, there was at one point in the year where we had to switch. If you were on a manual typewriter, you had to go to an electric. They were called Selectrics. It was a Selectric typewriter. Had a little ball with the letters on it, and if you wanted to change the font, you put in a different Selectric, I don't know, whatever that thing was called. You put in, somebody had to change it. I wasn't going to change it. Not me. I didn't change any of that stuff. Anyway, going to an electric typewriter, it's like, man, if you held the key down too long, it would type a whole string of whatever that letter was. Well, I wasn't used to that. Man, that was a challenge. But it was even a worse challenge for the kids who went to the manual typewriters. Oh my goodness, because they didn't have the finger strength developed. And you should have heard all the moaning and groaning about these horrible typewriters. They wanted to go back to their electric typewriters. I kind of felt like that too. It's like, give me my manual typewriter. I could type on that thing. So yeah, then we learned how to do tables and graphs. Ugh. Yeah, on a typewriter. So anytime I hear anybody complain about what it has to, or if I start complaining about what it takes to learn to do something on a computer, because they've gotten rid of the app or the program. Used to be programs, now they're all apps. If they change it or get rid of it or stop updating, or and you got to learn something new, I'm like, well, I need to just get over myself about that. Where's my elephant? Gotta look at my foot here so I can see where my foot is, right there. I don't know that I'll come in here and put in details about this elephant, like simple details, but it's possible. I might. Hey, Laura. I know. Hi, Nana. Hey, Mary Beth. Yeah, those were the days, man. You just have to stop yourself from complaining. Believe me, I complain. I do complain. Not like I'm Saint Barb or anything, let me tell you that. But let me also say that I get no sympathy whatsoever from someone named Race. Has he shown up today? I get no sympathy. None. If I start moaning about how hard something is, he'll say, "You want to do something different?" And I'm part of the time I'm like, well, yeah. And then I'm like, well, at least I have some familiarity with this thing. Bye, Ellie. I'm glad you're back to working again. I don't know if I said hello to you or not, Nanette. Hello. Is it Laura's birthday? Laura, is it your birthday? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Don't you love my little cup holder? Cute. That's made with the scraps. My scrap box. The scrap box that I'm going to empty eventually. Good for you, Laura. Happy birthday. Do I remember making pictures by typing a letter following a graph? I don't remember that. I don't think we were that clever. I should clean out my brush every once in a while so I don't get it caked full of paint. Anyway, I cannot keep the train on the track today. I think I need to get out more. Yeah. Last week, after the VIP class, which was on Saturday, we went out to eat for the first time since all this COVID stuff had happened. Went to our favorite restaurant. Hadn't been there 3 months. Over 3 months. 3 months. And it was the strangest feeling because it was like No one. This restaurant just buzzes with people. I need to keep working. It buzzes with traffic, with clients. And we always have to go in the middle of the afternoon. Otherwise, you just can't get in because it's just too... All right. Let me get the outline here because it's too busy. And you have to wait in line for too long. So we always go like mid-afternoon if we're going to go there. It was like a ghost town. It was so strange. So strange. But they have this thing where they make, it's an appetizer, and it's fried eggplant. And I don't have any idea what they do to that. But holy moly, it's good. Holy moly, that is some good eggplant. And normally we share an order. We hadn't been there in so long, we each got one. It was so good. And then we went to the mall because I had to mail some packages. So we went to the mall to see. I didn't even know if the post office was even open. They were. That was nice. The post office guy working, he was so glad to see me. Normally he's kind of aloof. He was so glad to see me, he could have jumped up and down. He was so glad to have something to do. Because he was absolutely bored out of his skull. And so that was fun. And then we walked all the way through the mall. I had not been in the mall other than to go to the post office from an exterior entrance. Had not been to the mall in all the same amount of time. And so I actually walked by a shoe store that was open, and I had been wanting to get a new pair of shoes. I was going to get this new pair of shoes last year or the year before. And so I saw the kind that I wanted. I like Birkenstocks. And so I saw them, the same kind, different color. If you find something you like and it works, you just want to get more of it. You know what I mean? And so I went into, they were none too excited about helping, but I found a clerk and I said, "Are you selling shoes today?" She said, "Yes." She said, "Is there one that you'd like?" And I said, "Yes." So I showed her which one. I got the size off the pair I had on my foot. She went back, brought the box up, handed it to me, and tried them on. About 5 minutes later, I walked out with a new pair of shoes. Haven't had them on since. They're still in the box. But I have them. But at the stores, everything is, nothing is standardized. Ooh, come on, don't get too crazy here. Nothing's standardized. All the hours are individually posted. This store is open for this many hours, and that store is open for a different number of hours. It's all very breathtaking, we'll just say that. Okay, I gotta pay attention here so I can get this elephant trunk painted in here. I do like the way that paper towel is working. I may have to switch to a smaller brush here in a minute. I try to use the biggest brush I can. That was goes back to my oil painting days. Anyway, so we just walked around in the mall, and then we used to always go to the bookstore every afternoon, Barnes & Noble, and have a coffee and sit and download the day, and we'd talk about whatever had to be talked about. And that way when we came home, and we've been doing this for years, which I referenced in when I read that part of my book to you earlier. We've done this for years so that we could talk about difficult things if we needed to, and then leave it wherever, leave it in the mall if we needed to, rather than drag it home with us. And so of course the bookstore closed, and okay, I gotta pay attention here a minute. They closed everything in the cafe first, and then they eventually closed the bookstore, and it's been closed for weeks and weeks and weeks. And you can't get into the bookstore from the mall. You have to go outside. So we did that. It's one of the hardest things with all this. Okay, such problems I have. One of the hardest things about this is trying to figure out whose rules are what. Because they're not standard, any place. The rules are not, just because it's like this one place, it's not like that everywhere else. And so you got to kind of continually adjust, which, is not a bad thing. It keeps us flexible. It's okay. Not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just observing. Right? Just observing. All right, little elephant. So anyway, we went into the bookstore, and I thought, oh good, I'll go get some magazines. Shoot, there's not a magazine on those shelves that is newer than April. So they were waiting for shipments to come in. I almost bought the same magazine again that I already had, just because it would have been so nice to have a new magazine to bring home. Yeah, I didn't. I stopped myself in time. But the people that work inside the bookstore knew us very well, because we would come in there every afternoon. So they don't know us by name, but they definitely recognized us. And I'm telling you, they were all going, "Oh, hello, it's so good to see you. Thank you for coming back." Yeah, isn't that funny? We will have, by the time things resume to whatever normal is going to look like, it is like when my life resumed some sort of normal after being a caregiver. It was a different shape. It had a different feel. It took a while to adjust. But eventually I made that adjustment. Flexibility. If you're not flexible, you're not going to survive this. You can resist it. You can be angry about it. It's not going to change a thing. Not going to change a thing. Been there, done that. I'm old enough to know that you might as well not resist it, because as the old saying goes, which is very true, what you resist persists. Yep, that is true. You're far better off to adopt the philosophy of giving up all resistance in your head. You will make the adjustment quicker. Any hoot. See, there is an elephant coming, even though he's standing on his head. He's coming. He's beginning to show up. I'm glad I did do this in black. I like the silhouette. I like the silhouette. What do you think of this elephant? Do you think he's cute? Do you think it's a girl or a boy? He has no tusks. The image on the poster would indicate that it was an adult elephant. But But let's be honest, an elephant balancing on a beach ball, yeah. We all need to use our imaginations, don't we? We all need to use our imaginations. So I asked you what you thought about the beach ball earlier, and then I didn't even bother to look at the chat. So you're going to have to put your answers in again here in a little bit when I get the rest of this elephant painted. And I've just about got it with painting it with one big brush. Yay for me! I like the black contrast against this colorful, crazy background. These were all just scraps of things in my scrap box. You know, I keep thinking I'm going to use up the scrap box of fabric and the scrap box of paper. It's never going to happen. You know what happens? You just make more. Just make more. The only way to use up your scraps is to throw them in the trash or send them to somebody else. And who wants to pay shipping on a box of scraps? Although having other people's scraps is pretty cool, you know, because they're not your scraps. Paint's getting dry. I have to get some fresh paint here. I'll watch the chat for a minute. There's an elephant in the room. That's right. I know, the paper towel texture. I don't think they could make an elephant bounce on a beach ball in circus. I think that's physically impossible. I think that's physically impossible, personally. Swap, a scrap swap. Alright, I got some fresh creamy paint, so let's see if we can get this to finish up. It was getting so dry, it was really dragging across the surface. So I wasn't getting a good edge. Of course, it's hard to get a good edge when you've got stuff that is so uneven in texture. But I do love the concept of the words, you know, that go with this. That the key to life is balance. It really is. Even if you get whacked out on things that are good things, if you don't have, it's like Disney, you know, you wouldn't have the princess if you didn't have the villain. You wouldn't recognize the princess if everything was only sweet and good. You have to have a balance in life. You have no idea how strong you are until you go through really difficult things. You don't have compassion for other people unless you have gone through difficult things, because you don't have to develop it. You tend to develop a lot more compassion when people have not been compassionate with you, right? You don't have to agree with me. It's my opinion. All right, come on. Come on, brush. You've been doing so well all this time. Don't fail me now. Don't make me get a new brush out now. Just almost. We're almost there. You're almost there. You don't learn what it is to live a balanced life until you've lived an unbalanced life. My watch is telling me I need to breathe. I never thought I would have a watch trying to boss me around. It does. Tells me when to stand up, tells me when to breathe, tells me when to go exercise, tells me all that stuff. Do I pay attention to it? Sometimes. Not always. Look. It looks like an elephant. It does look like an elephant. This was a pretty good idea, Barb. This is a pretty good idea you had. Trying to smooth out this trunk over here. It's a little raggedy. Trying to make it dark enough. And the trunk landed in an area where there's a dark scrap. So I may have to put a little bit of highlight on it later just to... It actually looks like the elephant has picked up, you have to use your imagination, picked up some dust and it's getting ready to blast it out, make a dust bath for somebody, don't you think? All right, what did Chris say? Let me scroll back. Hi, Alicia. You think the elephant should have polka dots? Is that what you're talking about? That would be funny. Just scrolling back through the chat. Give me a second. Bouncing on a daisy. Oh, that's funny. Balancing on 2020. Oh, that's good. Breathing fire. Dorothy likes effalumps. Effalumps. It's like biscotti. Our son used to talk about biscotti. He liked biscotti. Pretty much every kid likes biscotti, don't you think? All right, so there is a... the original concept is there's a beach ball, which I kind of like the concept of the beach ball, the fragility of and the silliness and all of that. I think he's cute. I think it's cute. A daisy in his teeth. He could have, I could be saying something too. I don't know. It's just cute. And I don't think I'll put a lot of details because I just like the way it looks. Anyway, so did Race ever show up today? Did anybody see him? Let's put this paint away before I stick my arm in it. Oh, right, 2020 on the beach ball. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's a good idea. I'll write that down so I remember it. Because if I don't write it down, based on how much I've remembered today, so I have that as an option. I do like the concept of the beach ball because it's just so ridiculous. Clausman didn't see him? Okay. Nobody's seen him. He must be busy today. He must be busy today. All right. So let's play around with, we'll let that sit. So let's play around with the words. So I again took the photograph of the poster and then I printed it out in a couple of different sizes. So I'm going to just put a piece of tracing paper over this. I'm going to write out the words. Sometimes I print these through my printer on tissue paper and then collage them down. Sorry, just watching the chat. Hold on a minute. I look up and sometimes I catch something. I'm going, oh, I got to go back and see what that was about. So, but what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to trace these letters, and then that gives me a chance to see about positioning them. And I'm just tracing it exactly the way that it, well, except I'm not doing the serifs on the letters, because I can add that. I'm just tracing it. And I'm going to use the word balance on the bigger one, I think. Just because. But this way I can hold it over the page and see if I think it's going to work. Alright, so we have, and this is just tracing paper, which is, this happens to be from Hobby Lobby, Master's Touch. There's all different brands of tracing paper, but that's what it is. It's tracing paper. It works like a charm. So then I'm just going to cut it out, because often you need to get rid of the extra paper. For me, got to get rid of paper. So how many of you are journalers that are here? Whether it's art journaling or writing journaling or whatever. How many of you are journalers? Race is up to no good. It is entirely possible. It's entirely possible. And if you're a journaler, don't you like that word? A journaler, a journalist, a scriber, a scribe. What kind of journaling do you do? What kind of journaling do you do? Yeah, because I don't want it to take away from my elephant. So we're just going to do that and call it good. Not sweat it a whole heck of a lot, you know? Don't sweat it. Dorothy keeps trying, but she forgets to keep it up. Hi, Catherine. She keeps a daily Fobonichi. Oh, Kathy. Kathy does Drawing Her Day. Kathy is a phenomenal artist, you guys. If you don't follow Kathy Arbor, yeah, you should. You should. Absolutely, you should. If I drew my day, I would be here till the cows come home next year. It's true. It is true. All right, so I'm going to call that good. And so I'm going to transfer this. Writing in our journal. Joan wishes she had time to journal. You just have to take time. You really do. It's the truth, Kathy. It's the truth. Hi, Pink Girly. Art journal, but make journals for your Etsy shop. Well, that's cool. What's Barbara say? Keep his journal 5 or 6 lines at night. Yeah, that's cool. So this is what I'm going to do. Sorry, I could have had it right side around so you could see it. This is graphite paper. There's lots of different brands of graphite paper. And this is the one I have at the moment. And you can keep it. Okay, what's the problem here with my... Sorry, I had to look at my computer a second. I keep the graphite paper. This is old. Like, this is years and years and years old in this hand. This is newer graphite paper. Can you see there are some lines on it, but not anything like this. I'll show you this one. I've had this piece for a long time. Let's see. I don't know if you can even see. Can you see all those lines? Yeah. It's still good. So if you're going to write on something that's a light colored background, you want to use a piece like this. If you're going to write on something that's super busy and bright like this, then you want one of the other pieces of graphite paper that's newer. So, oh, that's cool, Laura. Okay, so what you want to do, this is like carbon paper in that one side marks and the other side doesn't. So you want to make sure that you know which side marks. So the way you know that is you put it down on something and then make a mark. And if it comes off, then you've got the right way down. Okay, if you put it the wrong way down and you make a mark, you're just going to have a dirty fingernail. Okay, let's see, is this dry? I think so. So I'm going to slip this under here. I could write this, but I prefer to transfer it. This is the world's oldest. Yeah, this isn't carbon paper. This is graphite. Carbon paper. I don't use carbon paper with the art stuff because the person I learned to do oil painting and stuff from when we were doing decorative kinds of things using patterns always used graphite. She said don't ever use carbon paper. So anyway, dressmaker carbon paper is a different kind of thing. Anyway, this is the world's oldest stylus. I don't know how in the world I have managed to hold on to this container, this tube. I've had this since the 70s. I have. It's my original stylus. The finest, tiniest, can you see that? It's the teeny tiniest little ball stylus. If you don't have stylus like that, you can, this is a Martha Stewart stylus. It has 2 ends on it. A lot of times people use these for dot mandalas and things. The reason that this tape is around this end is because that's the end I like the most, and I don't have to, because I will pick it up and I will go, which way, you know, I just mark the end of it. So anyway, it's the coolest. Oh, doing a COVID journal. Yeah, that's a really good thing to do. It is a good thing to do. Yeah, it's a good thing to do. My writing journal, I am tracking, you know, a lot of my feelings, intentions, emotions, process of going through. See, bossing me around again in my journal. And I cannot believe, I'm telling you, I still go back to my journal where the whole corona situation started. And the first, I don't know how many entries are nothing but shock waves. Nothing but shockwaves. And it was about quarter of the way through that journal when I started. So I filled the rest of that journal, went through the next journal. I think I'm into my, I think this is the third or fourth journal since this thing started. It's like amazing. It's like amazing. Any hoot. All right, back to this. So we're going to transfer this design. So you can see that what I did was I taped my little tracing paper in place. Then I'm going to take out my graphite and I'm going to look, and I'm going to try again. The trick is that this background is so busy is the problem. The trick is to transfer your design, whatever it is, without damaging the paper or the surface below. They do make graphite paper in white, which would be handy, but I don't have that here, so. All right, I'll kind of have to make that up as I go. But you tape it so that it doesn't move on you. And the other thing is, don't scoot your hand around the rest of this, because if you do, you're going to be adding marks to your surface. Okay, we're good. All right, we're good. We can keep going. Whatever you do, don't remove the graphite, or don't remove your tracing paper until you are absolutely certain you have whatever it is you're trying to transfer successfully transferred. Okay, so my hinges are still here. The tape hinges are still there. All right, I can see most of it. Once you got it, then you can take it off. You can take off your pattern, okay? When I first started painting, we only used regular masking tape. There was no such thing easily available as painter's tape. It was probably there. Painters probably had it, but it wasn't commonly available in the art or craft areas. So man, you had to be careful with that stuff. You had to be really careful, because you could do all the work on something and then you could jack it up with tape, because you pull off the, there we go. You can really see the word balance. I still have some of my original patterns from the days that I did so much toll and decorative painting. See? Can you see it? You can't see the word "the" at the beginning, but I can make that up. Okay. So what I would do is I would just I'd peel off the tape. If you don't have painter's tape, if you use regular masking tape, make sure that you stick it on your arm, you know, your hand, or stick it to your clothes or something, so you get some of the real sticky off of it. All right, and then to protect my stylus, this is one of those, yeah, it goes back in its little house. It's like it's like Janet Merle talks about wiping the noses of the spray bottles. I put my stylus back in its little house. I know. I'll catch grief from people about that. Being overly crazy with that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a black paint pen, because that's going to be the easiest thing to do. All right, let's use, we'll use this one. It's a little, are we still here? Everybody still here? Looks like so. Yeah, you just never know, Nancy. You never know. I've gotten grief over crazy things. One of my favorite grief experiences I was given on YouTube was when I was poking fun at myself, and somebody took seriously me poking fun at something about myself. And they took high offense to what I said and explained to me the facts of life. And I responded. Usually I don't respond to that stuff. I responded and I said, if I thought about every single thing I said and how it was going to come out, and if it could possibly offend anybody, and if it might, freak somebody out or whatever, I would never say anything. I would certainly never stream. I would never do anything. I probably wouldn't leave my house. And this person responded back to me and told me that I was one of the most insensitive, blah, 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 blah. I got called a very long string of expletives. Whatever. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Shall we do this? Let's see if we can paint this in. All right. Our beach ball is still down here, yet to be determined. I'm going to put a piece of... I'm just going to put a piece of tracing paper over this so I can rest my hand. Hey, Jenny. Oh, sometimes you can just, I can think sometimes there's nothing that anybody could take offense to what I have said in this stream. Somebody will. They'll be upset about something I said or did or showed or... Oh, it's a hard life I'm living over here. Not. Okay. So I'm just going to get my pen going. Okay, so we're going to come back to the word the, because I'm going to have to kind of punt that one in there. So let me have this. Where's my little... All right, I got to find my copy so I can look at it. Yeah. My other favorite. My other favorite is, I get, not all the time by any means, but if I get criticized by people, it's because I talk too much and or my videos are too long and I need to learn to edit. It's like, well, it's recorded live. I'm not going to edit a live video. There's a thing at the bottom of the screen. If you're watching a recording, there's a little scroll bar at the bottom of the screen. You can just scroll your finger right over it. You can just skip all the stuff you don't want to hear. You can also go to the gear icon and you can click that and you can change the speed. Now I'm going to sound real weird, but it is what it is, right? There's things you can do, but my favorite thing is you can just scroll across. But I had somebody that one of the classes that we put on YouTube, it was the fabric paper class, and most people like that class, but this one, I've had a few people, 2 or 3, that let me know that I was pathetic. Oh, you just gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh, because you know what? The people who level the greatest criticisms, I always check to see what kind of videos they do, and most of them never do a video, have never recorded a video, never done anything. So it's very easy to, quite honestly, to bitch, moan, and complain if you don't do it. If you are doing it yourself and you're doing videos yourself, you're not going to do that. Trust me, you're not going to do that. You'd watch me if I streamed 24 hours. Trust me, my voice couldn't hold out that long. There are some people who stream, live stream, who can stream for hours. Like Stacey Evans, Pink Poodle Crafts, she can stream. Sometimes she'll do 8 or 10 hours of streaming, and I'm like, I'm telling you, after 2 hours, 2.5 hours at the most, my voice starts going away. I mean, and then my blood sugar tanks, and then I don't make any sense at all. If I don't make sense today and can't stay on the track, can you imagine what I'd be like after that amount of time? No. Okay, back to the words. Yeah. Oh, no, nobody's going to change me because I am who I am. If you don't like me, that's fine. I was just about to say something really rude. Oh, dear. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't let that roll out of my mouth. Every once in a while, I'm able to stop myself. Not always, but most of the time I can stop myself. Now, the graphite is harder to get off than regular pencil. So you're kind of better off to just cover up mistakes. Sometimes you can get them off with a kneaded eraser. So you just kind of have to roll with the punches. You know what I mean? When I watch a video, it took me a while because when I first started watching YouTube, I didn't have any idea when they were talking. This is how dumb I was. I had no idea what they were talking about, like the videos or thumbs up or anything. I didn't have any idea what they were talking about. Oh, I know now. Duh. How hard was that to learn? And man, I try to thumbs up every video I watch. If it's one I don't like, I just move on. I have never thumbs down. What is I don't know what the correct English is. Verb tense. Anyway, I've never put a thumbs down on anybody's video ever. Because you know what? If they have the guts to make a video and put it out there, put themselves out there, bless you. And I mean that. Even if the subject is not something that I want to watch, bless you for doing it. Because you're going to find an audience. You are going to find an audience. No matter who you are. So bless you for trying. All right, let's see if we can come back here and catch this the. All right, I can see the E. I'm right on a piece of paper toweling, so it is. Yeah, okay, here's the T. I can see that. See, I'm going to sneak up on it. Paper toweling makes it a challenge. Okay, now I got to find the H. All right, where are you? I'm going to have to hold this up so I can see it in the light, okay? So, maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to have to wing it. I think I'm going to have to wing it. Oh, well. I've wung it before. We'll wung it again. All right, not bad, not too bad. If I want to come back and make the letters thicker, I can later, but we'll just at least get it in so we have something to look at. And I'm just about to call it a day here in a little bit. I'll figure out the ball later and finish up the page and take pictures and put it on the blog and Yada, yada, yada. Man, it has been a busy week in my studio this week. Whew. I had like 25 hours of video. Speaking of editing, I had like 25 hours of video to edit down to 2.5 hours. Whew. I've been learning to edit for a while, and I have to say that I love it. I just love doing that. I've loved learning it, and it has been a challenge. The other day, all of a sudden, I hit the wrong button somewhere and thought I had lost everything, which was very disheartening because I had been at it for hours and hours. I thought, oh no, I just don't know where, because everything disappeared off my screen that I was familiar with. But in fact, it hadn't gone anywhere. I just had hidden myself. Do you ever do that where you hide something from yourself and you're like, oh, thank goodness it was there all the time. Oh, the sweat equity. And I sent Race a text and I said, are you available? Could you help me? And of course, I didn't get a response in that moment. So I thought, oh, he's busy. I don't want to bother him. And, usually when that happens, I will mess around with it long enough to be able to figure it out. And I did. I was very proud of myself. Okay, so there he is standing on the ball, so we'll figure out what we're going to do later. Pretty cute, isn't he? It's pretty cute. Let me just put him in the, I don't know if it's a him or a her, but we'll just put her right there. I like that elephant. I like that elephant. Okay, so there you go. All right. Kathy's World, message above. Kathy's World. Critical error on the website for the Mandala workshop. Okay, I will make a note and have Race look at it because I really don't know. I don't manage any of that. But thank you for telling me. They can have on the website, they can change one thing. One plugin can be updated, or one thing can be changed, and then it sets off this chain of things that you have to go through and sort through. Thank goodness Race like solving puzzles, because I don't like that. Don't like that. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Sometimes you go, how can this happen? Yeah, how can this happen? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here for Drama Free Friday, and we're done for today. So thanks for being here. Thanks for spending your time with me, listening to me ramble on and show you all those ancient journals from my life, and listening to a few words that hopefully maybe will encourage you to go about your day as we begin this process that we call re-entry. We used to call it that when our son would go away to camp for a month. He would go to a summer camp, and he did that for years. And we would go pick him up, and we would call getting away from camp. We would do something in between camp and coming home because we called it re-entry. So yeah, so we are entering the phase of re-entry into something else in this world. We don't know what it is yet, what it looks like. So thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will see you again next Friday, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern. I am Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com. Remember to get creative today, because you know it's easy. And I'll see you again before you know it. Bye, everybody.